World War II, the U.S. had three main surface weapons. They had the Springfield 1903, which I'm not showing here because it doesn't really contribute to the topic. And they also had the 1911, which also does not contribute to this topic. But then, so they had the Garand, which, you know, they had the Garand, which was, it was pretty good. It was also pretty heavy. Had 30-06, so it had a lot of power. Then they had the M1 Tommy gun, which was it was also pretty good, but it weighed the same as a Garand for less. I mean, you had more firepower, but you'd do way less damage to the enemy. Then you had the Bar, which had the same power as the M1 Garand because it shot 30-06, but it also was full auto, but you only got 20 shots out of it, which isn't really good for an LMG. So they tried to combine these things, but then they took too long. And then the Germans did it first. This is the Sturmgo Air 44. This was the first assault rifle ever made. It was made by the Germans, as pretty much every weapon concept that we like now is. Self-loading pistols, made by the Germans. Assault rifles, made by the Germans. Rockets, made by the Germans. By the way, it doesn't matter, because this was the first assault rifle. It fired 7.92 by 33 Curse, and it is wrongly believed to be, like, copied off of to make the AK. When really, but that's a bit off topic. But as I said, he took the internals of an AS-44, the externals of an AS-44, and then with the gas system and a receiver and the wood stuff, and he made the AK-47. I'm not going to go into a rant about how the AK-47 is a masterpiece gun and the U.S. should throw out the M16 for a AK-19 or something. But it was there, and it was used by the Soviet Union and pretty much everything that America fought. Like, pretty much every time after World War II, if America got into a war with something, 9 times out of 10, it was the AK-47 that was shooting at them. Ignore any background noise, but then the U.S. was just like, we're not going to do an assault rifle. We're just going to make the M1 Garand full auto. So they made the M14, and that was a huge failure because of the recoil. So then they used the M16, which sucked. Then they made the M16A1, which was better. I mean, it still jammed more than pretty much every type of AK, besides the BZ-58, but, you know, it was still pretty good. It was still pretty hated, even when the A1 came out, because it was made out of plastic, and they didn't like plastic. Freaking army soldiers were viscose back then or something. And then assault rifles pretty much stayed the same. You had a few outliers in other countries, such as the G36. The HK-33 was also a good example. I want an HK-33, but I can't get one. Like, I'm the biggest gun nut, but I'm not old enough to have a gun, and I want one so bad. But HK-33 was a G3, which took 5.56 by 45. Which directly led to the creation of the MP5. Because MP5 was an HK-54, which was a variant of the HK-33. Like, the HK-53 was given a 9mm upper and magwell, and that made the MP5 or the HK54. So, then, you had some outliers like that. And then the US tried to replace the M16 with the M8A1 or the XM8, which was just a G36, but it looks like a space gun. So, yeah, they got that. But then they threw it out because, one, Colt, and then two, they were scared of the plastic melting. But then they're just, kind of sticking with the M4, even though the next weapon system I'm about to bring up jams like a fourth of the times that the M8, the freaking M4 does. I can't get my guns straight today. SCAR 16 through 17. Okay, nope. Okay, I'm gonna bring down both the SCAR Heavy, right here, and the SCAR 16. So there's the SCAR 16L, and there's the SCAR 17H. The SCAR 17H is a full auto battle rifle, which is in .308 Winchester. I mean, like, it's still good. It's still used by, like, Marines and stuff. And they like it, but, I mean, just, like, I'd be a bit cautious, with the whole M14 situation, with the full auto .308 gun. I mean, it is in the name heavy, that should mitigate recoil, but still, I'd be a bit anxious. But then you had the SCAR 16, which the military doesn't replace the M4 with for some reason. I don't get why. Like, it jammed, like, in testing, the SCAR system jams like a fourth of the times of the M4, but they still don't want to use it as their main assault rifle. That's what I don't get. Now, fast forward to today, where, they're trying to replace everything again with, the 6.8 millimeter weapon system. Yay! I don't know if this technically counts as an assault rifle, because it is, like, it's a pretty big bullet. I don't know if it counts as intermediate. Somebody tell me in the comments if 6.8 millimeter counts as intermediate. The most modern AK that I know of, I'm talking like made by Kalashnikov itself, is the AK-19, which is in 5.56x45, and I really freaking want one of these. I think the US should probably replace the M4 with one. But they don't, because they hate Russian guns. And, yeah. The Brits use the L85, which I absolutely hate. But they still use it. Like this thing is so freaking big and bulky that Call of Duty had to put it in the LMG ranking in their game. Like, you probably need to change your assault rifle when people are getting it confused for a light machine gun. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for assault rifles. There's a whole bunch of assault rifles. It would literally be impossible for me to count every single assault rifle that was ever made in history out, because there's so many different variations of the same gun that it's like you're trying to figure out what counts as variation and what doesn't. It would be in the running for one of the longest videos on YouTube. So I can't tell you about literally every single assault rifle because there's so fucking many. But I'll see. Outro. 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 Outro.